Morning students, so we will start with another subtopic of the unit. We have done with nephro disorders, so now we will continue with male genitourinary function. So this will be video 1. So we will see now history. How do we collect history, so when we are collecting history, what we have to do. Already I think you have studied about the anatomy and physiology in the first year of the male reproductive system, external and internal organs. So now we will see history. So when we have to collect history from the patient, we have to keep in mind the theory the patient presents with determines whether the examination is conducted and what the anticipated findings may be. Therefore, take a full and comprehensive history. So when you are collecting the history, we have to make sure that we collect good history so as to get the information. Then examples of presenting complaints may include like if there is any lump that is found or swelling, any discharge or pain. Then generally we should ask, introduce yourself and check the patient's identity, see if he is the right person, explain the procedure that if you have to do the examination, then ensure the clinical room is appropriate for an intimate examination. So do it, in a with privacy. That is what it is told. You cannot expose the patient in front of others or in a common ward, but make sure if the patient is in the ward, put adequate screen, provide privacy, or take the patient to the examination room. Regardless of a gender, a chaperone should be present for the duration of the examination. Chaperone. Now, if it is a male, when doctors are doing, or male brothers are doing, take another person with you. Okay. So if it is, if it is female, then again female nurse when you are doing, take another female nurse with you and you have to accompany. Chaperone is nothing but another person to accompany. Same sex person should accompany. Okay, the patient should be examined both standing. So when we say they are standing, we can examine. So especially if scrotal swelling are suspected, refer to slide 6 and lying flat, that is supine position. You can either give them supine position and you have to give them standing position. Only then we will be able to find out if there is a swelling in the scrotum. So physical examination, when we inspect the scrotum, you have to inspect the skin, which is pigmented compared to the rest of the body. So when compared to other bodies, this will be pigmented. It will be because of the blood supply. Then left testis lies lower than the right, which is normal, but both should be visible, but it should be seen. Then the tone of the dartos, DARTOS muscle is influenced by ambient temperature. So what is this dartos muscle is? It is a thin, regulated, rugated, okay, so RUGATED, you can see a folds, facial muscle. So it is also called as ductus fascia. Okay, ductus fascia. So that is a thin, rugated facial muscle of the scrotum. Okay, so it is found in the scrotum, of the scrotum, and it is made up of smooth muscle. Okay, so when we say it is mainly found in the base of the penis. Okay, I repeat. So this dartos muscle is also called as dartos fascia, which is a thin rugated facial muscle of the scrotum, and it is made up of smooth muscle which is at the base of the penis. Okay, so we'll have to check that, and then you see, okay, so ambient means on all the sides. So this muscle will be affected based upon the temperature surrounding this muscle. Then consequently the normal scrotal appearance varies with temperature. Then you have testis. So the bed, it is ovoid, smooth, firm organs. It measures from 3.5 to 5.5 centimeter long and 2 to 3 centimeter wide. They are within the scrotum, a pouch-like a structure. So these testes are found in a pouch-like structure called as, pouch-like structure composed of a thin, loose outer layer over a tough connective tissue layer. Then within the testis coil structure known as seminiferous tubules forms spermatozoa. So these forms spermatozoa, which are the immature sperm, when the process of sperm production is called spermatogenesis. Then you have interstitial cells of the testis, which lie between the seminiferous tubules and produce the male sex hormone. Okay, next you have ducts. So the sperm formed in the seminiferous tubule, all this you have already studied in anatomy and physiology. Okay, so sperm formed in the seminiferous tubule move through the series of ducts. These ducts transport the sperm. So it is the duct which is there, helps in the transportation of the sperm to outside of the body. As sperm exits the testis, they enter and pass through the epididymius, ductus deferens, ejaculatory duct and urethra. Then glands, you have the seminal vesicles, prostate gland and corpus glands. These are the accessory glands of the male reproductive system. These glands produce and secrete semen, which is a seminal fluid, and wheels surround the sperm. So what is that wheels? Which are reddish in color, okay, and they are little swollen. Okay, so it surrounds the sperm and forms the ejaculate. The seminal vesicle just lies behind the bladder where it is positioned. You can just go through it, and the prostate normally measures 2 cm wide and 3 cm long, and is divided in right and left lateral lobes and an anterior, posterior, median lobe. The ejaculate will be alkaline and the sperms have motility and survival. Okay, so next we see external genitalia. So it consists of penis and scrotum. The penis consists of shaft, the tip known as the glans. And it is said that glans has about 4,000 nerve endings in it. The glans is covered by a fold of the skin, the prepuce or foreskin, that forms at the junction of the glans and the shaft of the penis. The shaft of the penis consists of erectile tissue composed of the corpus cavernosum, the corpus spongiosum. So when we say cavernosum, it is nothing but the erectile tissue, okay, which is found at the base of the penis. And then you also see corpus spongiosum also. These are erectile tissue like the corpus cavernosum, and then this ends in the, so this is also found at the base of the penis and it ends in the glans. Still there you will see this smooth erectile tissue which helps in the erection of the penis. Then the skin covering the penis is thin, loose and essentially hairless. Next we will go to see what are the diagnostic diagnostic for male reproductive system. So mainly when you do urine test to check the functioning of the male urinary sex organs, we can do testosterone levels, okay, anomalies of the testis can be found out, then tumors and development can be visualized, then instruct patient to collect 24 hours that they could have collected and they could be tested for the levels of testosterone. Next you have FSH assay dysfunction. So this indicates gonadal failure because of pituitary. Okay, so you will see this test which could be done. Instruct patient to collect 24-hour urine specimen, male 2 to 15 international units per 24 for 24 hour. When they collect, they will see if FSH is present about 2 to 15 IU, then it indicates that there is a gonadal failure. Then blood studies that we can do is prostate specific antigen test for monitoring response to therapy, which is normal finding, used to detect prostate cancer. So for prostate cancer they will check the levels of prostate specific antigen. So no fluid or food restriction should be there. Collect 5 ml of blood is taken. Observe any puncture site for bleeding, which will be less than 4 nanogram per ml. Then serum HCG. So HCG is human chorionic gonadotrophin. Even HCG is done in a woman to find out if she is pregnant. So these levels will be increased, marked increase will be there if the woman is pregnant. So here we do human chorionic gonadotrophin assay, okay, and we detect if this is found in the serum. So this is all blood studies that we do. And then marker for testicular malignancy. This also helps to understand if the patient has got testicular malignancy. So this is again done with the blood sample. Next you have serum estradiol levels in men may be testicular formation tumors. So increased serum estradiol, bleeding or hematoma. Next you have observe any puncture site for indicative of any, you have to do, and take the blood sample. So you will see that serum estradiol will be there, okay, in case of any, testicular hematoma, okay, or testicular carcinoma, okay, that is a tumor. If it is there, you will see that serum estradiol will be there or blood clot also will be there. Then serum FSH, as we have done for the urine, you have to do follicle stimulating hormone. And for male, required is 2 to 15 ml. You have to done. You have to take and do the test, and then you will see that there is no food or fluid restriction. To check any venereal diseases, research laboratory VDR, like sexually transmitted diseases, flocculation can be made within 1 to 2 weeks. So non-specific antibody test used to screen for syphilis. Positive readings can be, so you can do by taking the blood, you will be able to find out, okay, if any virus or bacteria. Based upon that, you will be able to understand if the patient has got, any venereal diseases. Then fluorescent treponemial antibody absorption, which is called as FTA-ABS. So this detects the syphilis antibodies and detects early syphilis with a great accuracy. So this helps mainly to find out sexually transmitted disease, that is a syphilis. So blood sample can be taken. So when it comes to fertility test, we can do semen analysis volume. It can be done. So 2 to 5 ml. So semen is assessed for sperm specimen within 2 hours after ejaculation. So when they have been ejaculated, when the the fluid has come out, they take it and then they do the test for semen. Okay, then instruct patient to bring in fresh count, that is more than 20 million per ml sperm motility. They will see the motility of the sperm. 60% motile and percent of abnormal sperm, 60% with normal structure. So this is what they will observe in the semen analysis. They will see the motility and the presence of the sperm in the semen. Okay, and it should be assessed within 2 hours after ejaculation. So these are the various diagnostic tests that has been done for the patient. So far we have seen what is the assessment that is done, and then what are the various diagnostic evaluation, which includes urine studies, so mainly FSH, and then blood studies, PSA, HCG, serum estradiol, serum FSH. For venereal disease, okay, we'll have to check by venipuncture, take the blood and do it. Then fluorescent treponemial antibody absorption, this is mainly done to check if the person has got syphilis. Then fertility test to see the motility of the serum, amount of the serum, motility of the sperm and amount of sperm that is found. So its specimen is collected and done within 2 hours after ejaculation. So with this we are finished. So next we will go into the disorders.